I believe a lot of what is going to happen in these last days is the restoration of the prophetic, through which God's glory will be seen upon the face of the earth. Not everyone will become a prophet, but everyone has the gift of prophecy.
We cannot do without the prophetic, right? If we are in the business of the Father and we know that Jesus is coming back pretty much very soon, and if we've got to be the bride that is preparing for the bridegroom, I want to challenge you, I want to urge you to go to this topic called the prophetic, because we cannot prepare as the bride of Christ without it. We cannot, right? If there is anything I'm entirely and completely sure about, we cannot. So we need to hear his heartbeat, and we need the prophetic and all the fivefold ministry to be in the fullness so that we can prepare for the King as he comes back.
Not just to confine it to the four walls of the church, but God wants to use people in the prophetic in the marketplace. God wants to use people in the prophetic in different spheres of society. We see it even in the Bible. Joseph powerfully operating in the gifts of the Spirit, but he was a prime minister. So there are multiple biblical examples of how God has used these prophetic gifts to be a blessing to the world out there.
I think because the prophetic has so much to do with someone's personal life, these intimate details of their journey, it's so important to steward that well, because a timely word, well spoken, can build their life or it can break it. It can make or break somebody and their relationship with God, in fact. And so as someone flowing the prophetic, we have this really, deep responsibility to do it in a relational way, in a way that expresses the nature of God, the love of God, that God is actually for this person, no matter where they are in their journey. And so I would love to see that happening, that we can steward it in a way that people are actually able to receive and benefit from the purpose of prophecy.
I'm looking at Jesus. It is his desire to train these disciples. So first he did the miracles himself. After that he taught them and worked together with them in doing the miracle. Then he sent them 2 by 2. And he also emphatically said, the Son cannot do anything except what the Father says. So he's calling for intimacy. It should not be a religion, it should be a relationship with God. So it is my greatest burden and desire to train every believer to have that consistent intimacy with God. I'm seeing a generation rising in these last days who know their God, who can hear their God, and they're all, can you imagine the body, every part of the body knows his assignments and it works well. If one malfunction, the whole body suffers, isn't it? Paul refers us to the body. So if we are hearing accurately and we are aligned accurately in what God is saying, and we do it, we will take the world for Jesus.
So the fivefold ministry, as we know, in Ephesians 4, it talks about apostles, prophets, pastors, teachers, evangelists. Now, pastors and teachers we're kind of quite familiar with. Evangelists, maybe to an extent. I'm talking about India more than globally. Evangelists, again, we're kind of okay with the evangelist guy in the church, but the apostles and prophets is something that I remember myself a few years ago when somebody introduced themselves as apostle, so my one eyebrow just went up and said, who said that? That's because I was not taught, or I didn't understand, right? Just because I don't understand doesn't mean it is not what the word teaches and it is not the original. It's like saying, when you see so many counterfeits, you lose sight of the fact that there is an original. And when you see a counterfeit now, it's a sure shot that there is an original. So we better go digging and hunting for that.